Good morning. So today's vlog is going to be a little bit different of a vlog. If you watched our Q&A video, one of the questions was about my experience as a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and basically asking about me returning home early from that. And so we thought it would be a good idea to make a video of just me talking a little bit about that. Kenley isn't here right now, so it's just gonna be me. But yeah, like I said in the Q&A video, this is something that I am very open to talking about. I don't try to hide it or anything. It's just, it's just part of my experience in life and something that I like sharing because it's good to talk about things like this, especially regarding mental health. So we thought it'd be a good idea to do a more in-depth video about what really happened with that and my story with it all. So if you are not aware of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we send out missionaries who serve for 2 years for the men, 18 months for the woman, and they go out and basically serve people, try to teach people about Jesus Christ and about the gospel, and really try to make a difference and bring the light of the gospel into people's lives. And so I was very excited to have the opportunity to do that. I left on my mission a little bit later than most missionaries do. Usually missionaries will leave just the summer after they graduate for the men. Well, I shouldn't say usually. A lot of times, a lot of my friends, at least, a lot of them left just after graduating high school. I left not the summer after we graduated, but the summer after that. So I actually began my mission in July of 2020, and I got called to the California Bakersfield mission. It was the exact same mission that my sister served in, actually. So I was super excited, really looking forward to it. My family was all excited. It's just overall an exciting situation. And so I started my mission in July. And with missions, you kind of go through a period of training at what we call the MTC, the Missionary Training Center. And during COVID, though, this was a little bit different. They had us do that training at home, virtually, rather than at the actual training center in Provo and Mexico, wherever's closest to where you're serving. And so for me, it was already kind of a different experience in getting that MTC experience at home. And then I flew out a few weeks after the training started. Just after a few weeks of training, I flew out from Salt Lake down to California. And yeah, so I was in California. I was serving in an area that was just barely north of Los Angeles County. The area was specifically called Agua Dulce, and we lived in an area called Palmdale. It immediately was kind of hard because we were so far from everyone and everything. It was very difficult already just right off the start. And then add into the fact that COVID was still going on around that time, and California had very strict policies surrounding COVID. Because of COVID, we weren't able to go into the homes of the people that we were teaching. We were supposed to really only meet with them if it was outdoors. We could do virtual calls just over the phone, and that was kind of what they were trying to limit us to as much as possible, just to keep us safe and keep those families safe. And it's totally understandable. But where I really like interacting with people, it was very difficult for me because it felt like we weren't getting that as much. We weren't able to go out and find people to teach about the gospel. A lot of what we were doing was just meeting with members of the ward, members who were already part of the church that we just met with to chat through things with a little bit. And that is not at all what I had expected with my mission experience, and so that kind of threw me for a loop as well. And then I think it was like a week and a half after I arrived in California, we got hit by a lot of just wildfires. There were a ton of fires around us. There was even one that was like not even a mile from our apartment. Basically because of that, they didn't even want us going outdoors anymore because the air quality was so bad. So not only could we not meet with people indoors, we couldn't go outdoors either because of the fires. And so we had a good stretch where we were only allowed to do things indoors, and that was really hard for me as well because I don't like just being indoors all the time. I like going outside. I like doing things. I like going out and talking to people. And so it got really, really hard for me being stuck in our little apartment. It was just me and my trainer. We didn't have any other companionships living with us at our apartment, and it got really difficult for me. And my trainer, my companion, he was a great missionary. He is a great dude, but he also was just a very different personality than I am. And so it made it feel like I was very alone, just because I didn't feel like I had someone I could connect with. Because of that, I had some really difficult depression that I was feeling. I'd experienced anxiety and depression during high school and worked really hard after high school to get it, better, to not have it affect me as much. So I was feeling very comfortable with where I was at mentally before the mission, and then I kind of crashed down super hard during the mission. So that was very hard for me. And long story short, just after lots of therapy, I called a therapist every day, and talked with them through things to try to help me. I met with my mission president a lot of times. He actually was a therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever. He worked with mental health in his career before being a mission president, so he was very aware of what I was feeling. And we really did work super hard on trying to get me to a place mentally where I could keep serving. After many hours of this and no success, and me still just getting worse and worse, we kind of decided that it would be best for me and be best for my life if I were to just return home. And this was a decision made by me and my mission president, as well as my stake president back at home, and my family. We all kind of just felt like that was what was best for me. And so I flew home from my mission early. As I said, typically us guys serve for 2 years. I served for, I think the total amount was about 3-4 months at most. I think it was 3 months. So I flew home and was very disappointed. Now, when I got home, a lot of missionaries who return home early from their mission will either try to go back out on the mission once they get things taken care of with their mental health, or they will do a service mission, which is where they essentially just do a lot of service for the church around their home and still live at home. But for me, after a lot of thought and prayer and consideration about all of my options, we kind of decided that the best option for me would be to kind of just try to move on with my life and kind of get past this stage I was at. I was feeling very disappointed in myself and having very negative emotions surrounding the entire experience. So because of that, we decided, maybe it'd be best for me to just move on and take the next steps in my life that were needed. So, getting back into college and schooling and finding a good job. So I did that. It was a very difficult decision, but it did end up working out for the best. But yeah, it took a lot of therapy after I got home. There were a lot of times where I felt judged by people because I had returned home. And, it was a lot for me to work through. And that's why I think this is, a good thing to talk about, because I'm not the only one who has experienced this before. There are a lot of other missionaries who have returned home early. There are a lot of other people outside of the church, especially that deal with mental health problems like this. And so that's why I like talking about it, just because, for me it was helpful when I would hear other people share their experiences about dealing with this. It made me feel like I wasn't alone in experiencing this. There were other people who knew how I felt, and I like providing that hopefully to other people who may need to hear it. I do just want to talk about that a little bit. If you are struggling with mental health, just know that you are not alone. It is something that I have struggled with. It is something that Kenley has struggled a lot with, and she's been very open about. And, all I can really urge you to do is hang on and get the help that you need. I wouldn't have been able to get through all this without, therapy, without meeting with counselors, without medication especially. Sometimes that's needed, and that is okay. It is perfectly normal to experience these feelings in life. So yeah, my hope for sharing this is that other people might see this and see that they're not alone, that it is a normal thing to experience in life. If you are a former missionary that returned home early because of mental health, then I definitely feel for you, and I know how hard that is. It's hard to get back to a normal life when, one, you were expecting it to go completely differently on your mission, and two, it's very easy to feel like people judge you or make assumptions about you. That's something that's stuck with me throughout all of my life, that, just because I may struggle at times with mental health, that does not mean I am any lesser of a person. It means I am just human, and I have that to go through. Yeah, I got home from my mission, found a good job. I was able to propose to Kenley. We got married. I think we got married just over a year after I returned home, maybe just less than a year than when I returned home. So, you know, it all did work out for the better. I am very grateful for my experiences that I had in California. I am very grateful for my experiences I had battling this mental health that I still continuously battle. I still have hard days. I still take medication for it. And I still try my best to, you know, stay happy, but sometimes that doesn't work out. You know, I'm just grateful for that experience that I was able to have, because it's allowed me to help others who are going through similar things. It's also helped me understand more of how my brain works and how to help myself. So I wanted to share this a little bit more with you all, go a little bit more in depth about the situation surrounding that. I get asked about it quite a bit. If you have questions about it, please ask me. I am totally open and willing to share about it, because like I said, it's something that is good to talk about, because, you know, it's a real thing that a lot of people struggle with, and I want people to know that they're not alone. So again, if you have any questions about mental health, about, you know, returning home early from a mission, I'm no expert in it, but I do have experience, so I would love to help anybody as much as possible. But that's all I have for you today. Again, this was a little bit different of a vlog. We kind of like doing sit-down vlogs like this to get you to get to know us a little bit more. So hopefully you got to know me a little bit more, and a different side of me that I haven't shared as much on the channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let us know what you thought. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll see you tomorrow.